Surrounded by. I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Surrounded by them.
Idiots.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest, known for his standout performances in True Detective, The Island, Chicago Med, New Amsterdam, then to Broadway hits like Gem of the Ocean and Radio Golf, and now his latest film, Exhibiting Forgiveness, is taking the industry by storm. We're talking about Mr. John Earl Jelks.
Damn, man, what a fucking introduction, man. What can I say? Maestro, you set it out, man.
You know, just how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be in this chair, man. I mean, come on, man.
It's great to finally have you on the podcast. So everybody knows Mr. Jelks. He's been Mr. Jelks to me my entire life because his two sons are actually my best friends since second grade.
Wow.
And yeah, it's crazy to think like you've seen all of us just.
I have, man. I've seen you grow up, man. I've seen you become the man that you are, man. And I'm just so freaking proud of you, man.
Thank you,
seriously,
brother.
Man. Everything you've done and accomplished, man. Come on.
Thank you.
I mean, you went from selling carpets, man, in commercials, you know what I mean, to The Wire, man. Come on.
Been working, man.
Yes,
but
sir.
If anybody knows that journey, it's definitely you. So, you know, the whole time growing up, I always knew you were an actor. I always knew that you came to a lot of your plays, you know, when they were in Chicago at the Goodman and whatnot. But I wanted to ask, like, we didn't have a concept at the time of like what. I was doing my thing, but I still had parents. I was still taking care of it. When, I could only imagine now looking back what that was like, having an entire family still trying to run around, make this dream happen. So like, I really want to just hear your.
Okay. I'm not trying to cut you off, but
no,
I see where you're going with this, man, as far as like, what did it take? It took every day getting up, believing I could do this. And it was such a routine, Maestro. I'm going to tell you what I did. So if people want to see it as a blueprint, it ain't really it wasn't that complicated to me.
Right.
I got up, I said my prayers, I worked out, and I went to work. And what I mean by that is that I only ask for what the best day can actually bring to me. And I ask, God to say, look, whatever day this brings, let me handle it in any way I can possibly can. Next step is to work out a little bit so I can have the breath, the stamina, and to be able to do whatever that day is, because theater is different than any other day. Mm-hmm. You're going to do those rehearsal hours.
Yeah.
You're going to do that repetitive hours of just rehearsal, right? And you're going to do those 8 shows. You ain't going to get around doing that.
Right.
And then you're only going to have Mondays off. So I've learned to just sort of like space my time out and treat each minute and each hour important. And then I had to have, play with my kids so they wouldn't turn out to be fucking crazy. You know what I mean? So I had to figure out some time to take them to the park.
Right.
So Mondays always was dedicated to family, all family. Well, you spent some Mondays over at the crib.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The time that y'all broke the window, they didn't want to tell me this shit, man. I was like, oh, come on, man. I asked who broke the window, man. Nobody told me. It took you, my show, to tell me that my sons was wrestling in a room that I told you weren't supposed to be in.
I instigated it slightly.
Oh, shit.
So it was, what was going on was Jabari was watching something on TV. It was probably the Chicago Bulls. It was probably the Bulls game. And Jamal was just kind of like, hey, man, it's whatever. Like, he wants to watch the Bulls game.
Right.
I didn't want to watch the Bulls.
Okay.
So I said, man, you gonna let your little brother just get you like that? I definitely pulled that card. And then Jamal goes over there, tries to take the remote. Jabari's like, no.
Right.
And then,
yeah, man. And my mom played a role, too, because she taped it, man, the best she could. I didn't see it until, like, summer, man. You know what I mean? That was the craziest thing, because I didn't see it right away.
I heard they lost a Xbox in that exchange.
They did. I had to take away something, man. Because, they don't understand. We talking about the days I had off. I worked hard for the money, man. So, come on. Don't break the windows in the house because you're mad, man. You know what I mean? But not trying to get off subject. It's like, I enjoyed what I did, man. I mean, I started off at 18. I don't know if you know my whole history as far as theater. But I'm going to try to give you the shortest version I can possibly can, because I'm now 65, Maestro. Wow. But I started at 18. I actually followed a girl. I was at City College. I actually, and the reason I went to City College is because they was giving out these grants. It was called like Pell Grants.
Right.
They would give you out money if you just go to school.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I go to school and get paid. All right, let me just go to City College. And when I went there, I actually wanted to take up a trade. So I was looking at maybe becoming a carpenter, plumber, whatever that can actually pay money.
Right.
I saw this girl. And I would say, oh, my goodness. All right, I'm going to follow her around a little bit. So I followed her around, and everything she signed up for, I did too. She signed up for Acting 101. I had just signed up for the same thing. She signed up for nutrition class. I signed up for that. I wanted to be in every class she was in. No bullshit, brother. It's true. And she didn't like me, man, at all. And when I say at all, there's nothing worse than trying to chase someone that don't like you. She didn't really like me at all. She was more into athletes. You know what I mean? She liked athletes.
Right.
I was just a poor ass cat out of the projects. They was trying to figure it out, and she peeped my game.
She was like, no.
No. So here I am in San Francisco at City College.
Right.
In this acting program, and what ended up happening, she went to an audition that I followed her to. Followed her to the audition. We was maybe 2 months into the program.
Yeah.
So I knew enough, but I didn't know anything about acting.
Okay.
But I followed her to this audition. I waited. And I'm talking, I waited, Maestro. And when I say waited, man, maybe 2.5 hours went by, maybe 3. And I see these 2 gentlemen walk out. And they coming out as if they going home. And they say, are you here to audition? I said, no, I'm here. I don't want to say her name, but I'm going to say it. I'm here because of Maria. They say, well, Maria went out the back door about 2.5 hours ago.
And you just been sitting there.
I just been sitting there. They say, well, damn, man, you sure? Are you an actor? You know, of course I had to say, of course, because, you know.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm only taking 6 weeks of classes at this point. They say, okay, well, why don't you come in here and read for us? You know, we casting this part. And you feel kind of look like the guy we kind of looking for.
Right.
So I go and I read this shit like Cat in the Hat. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how to put,
nothing together
yet. So I'm reading the script. I can see them cats looking at me, man. And they go, okay. Once I put down the size that they gave me, they said, look, man, we'll teach you the rest. She said, but we won't like to hire you because you look the part that we're looking for.
You look the part. That's how you got that job.
I got that job. But what was great, I met 2 guys that became mentors of mine that taught me how to walk a stage, how to say the lines, how to break down the script. I learned that all on the job. And that job led me, and here's the cool thing. Because they didn't want to waste my time, they said, I'm going to pay you $500 a week. I said, okay. I'm 18, $500 a week.
Sound good.
I'm getting the Pell Grant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a good week for me. I got a job at the Bank of America. You know what I mean? Working in the mailroom. I'm like, damn, I'm in the projects, Maestro. You know what I mean?
Like, man, things are good.
Things are good. I'm getting checks now, right?
That's crazy.
So I learned how to act through that.
And this was in
San Francisco.
San Francisco, okay.
And then I went on from there. I got hired to do a play with an she's an actor-singer. Her name was Cindy Herron, in a play called Pinocchio Jones. They did a parody of Pinocchio, but they threw Jones on it. So, you know what I mean?
Black Pinocchio.
It gave you a black Pinocchio. And that paid $800 a week.
Going up.
Because they was pushing Sydney to become, I can say her name, I hope. I mean, if you have to cut it out, you can. Cindy Herron, she's part of En Vogue.
Oh.
She was in high school, and they did a play. And I'll never forget the cast was like, in my neighborhood going like, dude, you going to go and do a high school play? I said, nigga, they paying. You get me?
Like, what you want from me?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We in the projects, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's
be real.
Let's just be real.
Facts.
So what ended up happening with that, we did that play, and it lasts maybe 3 months, man.
Okay.
They really pushed that play around San Francisco. And with that, I ended up on a PBS, Up and Coming.
Okay.
So I got my first experience as a professional actor all within less than 2 years. I was 20 years old with a SAG after card. So when I look back and they go like, 1980, SAG. I'll go, okay, I've been in it for a minute.
Right.
And then I decided, okay, it's time to prove myself as an actor. So I basically did as many jobs as I possibly could around everything that came into San Francisco. I did.
Right.
I can truly say that.
Yeah.
I was trying to model.
Yeah, listen, the industry you was trying to get in where you fit.
Because I didn't know any better. I had no agent. I played my own agent for up and coming, but I fucked myself too, Maestro. I'll tell you, because I didn't know anything about contracts.
So what happened?
Oh, dude, it's a real quick story. It's real quick because that's how quick it is. It's like when I got the job. Well, before I got the job, I went to an audition, and I got a call. They said, "Well, who was your agent?" I gave them my phone number.
Right.
This is when you had the phones that you pick up, and I rushed home. So my sister says, somebody had been calling here looking for John Jelks. I said, oh, well, tell them the next time, if you answer. Act like a secretary.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She picked up the phone and gave her best voice. Hello. And they said, will you speak to John Jelks? Oh, one moment, please. But who's calling? They said, well, we want to hire him for up and coming. Well, you're going to have to speak to his agent first. Mm-hmm. And I played agent. So I got on the phone and I said, yeah, I'm his agent. And they knew I probably wasn't. Because I didn't have the language, man. I didn't have, none of that shit. They
you didn't know the deal terms and
I
all
didn't know the deal terms. I just basically wanted to know what they was paying.
Yeah. And
they paid pretty damn good. That's when I jumped up to a few notches. They paid over $2,000 an episode.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But it was a buyout contract. I didn't read to the bottom of the line. I just signed the papers.
Right.
It ran for 2 years. And what I mean by 2 years, and then it started repeating. It was showing 3-4 times a week, every other day. And I didn't know about this until one day I'm on the bus and I see Cindy Harrell on the bus and she said to me, John, isn't it wonderful that we're getting these little small checks from up and coming? I said, what?
What checks?
What checks? I'm not getting no check.
Oh.
But I went back and I read that contract and said, buyout, you're getting all your money. But I got all my money every episode. And when I got that check, I was living high. I was 19, 20 years old, right?
Right.
So I took most of that money and I went to Benny Hunter's on the weekend. That was my Benny Hunter money, man. I would take my friends out we was in the project.
I get it. That was you was doing it up.
So nobody can say I wasn't balling, man. I went to Benny Hunter's, man, with that money, man.
Hey, man, he said, let me get the hibachi chicken with
show me the show, do the show, do all funny. That, man. And
damn.
So I didn't know anything. So I went from there. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible because it's a long
take
road,
your time.
But it ended up being what it was for me. And I'm not ashamed of my journey because I took that and I was able to say, okay, I'm here where I'm at now. I've arrived to where I'm at. So from that job, I just started doing different things around San Francisco, but I kept my regular job at Bank of America. Remember, I told you I got a job.
A real job.
Sorting mail.
Stability.
Yeah, sorting mail in the mailroom. So that was my thing. I sort this mail, and I go act on the side. You know what I mean? I did that until my teacher, I always took classes. She would say, Johnny. She would call me Johnny. She said, Johnny, you want to get better, you got to go to New York. I was like, oh, shit. I got to save up for New York.
Right.
So I saved up, and so I got brave enough to go to New York for the first time at 22. Went to New York at 22 with $2,000 in my pocket, and I left 10 at home. Because I figured, fuck it, if I got to come back.
I got some.
I got something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're talking about a guy from projects that didn't believe in banks, really. Although I was working for Bank of America, I wasn't putting my money in the bank. It was in a shoebox. At my sister's house in the closet. You understand?
Right.
So I went to New York, and that 2000 went quick. And I met nobody. And when I say I met nobody got nothing. So before I know it, I was back on the Greyhound, back to San Francisco.
The Greyhound.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy.
Greyhound.
That's
but
a long
when I got
trip.
there, which was a good thing, is that I had to revamp myself. Because when I was there, I saw some plays that I said, wow, I would love to be a part of it, but I'm not ready. I saw Fences. I saw James Earl Jones.
What?
Yes, sir.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, man. And I was like, he was already one of my heroes. He was one of the people I really wanted to be like. I was like, oh, him and Yaphet Kotto. I don't know if you know about that dude.
I don't know.
Look him up, man. Yaphet Kotto is a brilliant black actor, man.
Yeah,
But those are two dudes that inspired me. Don't get me wrong. I like Sydney, but I was like, Sydney, I can't look like you, man. I come from the rough side of town. You know what I mean? My language ain't always correct. You get me? I'm still speaking in different kind of languages, and Sydney just had perfect dialogue, perfect pronunciation, and all kinds of he was just a leading man for real.
Yeah.
You get
in every sense of the word.
Every sense of the word. So I never wanted to be a leading man. I wanted to play James Earl Jones' character that he played in Claudine. I wanted to be the garbage man. You get me? That was close to the cast I knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? The guy that drove the truck for the, the electric, whatever.
The everyman.
The everyday, or the plumber. You know what I mean? That's the dude I figured. Those dudes got life. You know what I mean?
And they got stories.
They got stories.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until James Earl Jones showed that these actors, these people do exist.
Yeah.
But they didn't give him many roles as that. It was Claudine, then it was that. And then before you know it, you didn't see him again until really, like, for me, Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man, that's one to get, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, not trying to get off subject.
No.
He inspired me to be an actor.
That's amazing.
But when I saw him, I was running out of money. I went to buy a Broadway ticket to see a play, but it taught me something. I wasn't ready.
Right.
I was not ready for that stage. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back and hone my skills and get better at what I'm doing. If I need to speak up, I will.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
So I went back, took more classes, got another job, and worked and took classes, and once again, took whatever would come through town.
Right.
I was an extra here. I was an extra there. I learned to work the extra game really well. I did one job, man. It's called, what was the name of that movie? The Right Stuff.
The Right Stuff.
Real true story, brother. I just took the job as an extra, but when she called me Atmosphere, they said, you guys are just Atmosphere. I never forget when we went to get costumes. They put a bowl on everybody's head and cut the sides off because they wanted you to look like you in the 60s. I said, I'm not putting a bowl on my head, man.
I'm not doing
I'm not doing that. It's like you're not even trying to send us to a real barber. You just put a bowl and just cut the sides off, and that's supposed to make us look like we're in the 60s? Dudes had real fades, man.
Right.
They knew how to fade. You guys don't know how to fade, so that's what y'all doing to us. Right. So that was one thing. So they was going to put me in the back of the line. Here's the other thing. Went to costume, they ran out of shoes. Sizes. I'm a size 11. She gave me a 9. And I said, these don't fit. She said, well, walk on the back of them. Nobody's going to see you anyway. I said, okay.
Word.
I got you.
Wow.
So I decided, okay, since back then you didn't really have to do a lot of check-in. You just had to come in since we Atmosphere people. Mm-hmm. I came in and signed my name and went out the other door. And then once they was finished filming, because I lived across the street from where they was filming at. They was filming at the Cow Palace. You know what I mean? I said, okay, my Atmosphere, you ain't going to know whether I'm there or not. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
I got a free check, man.
Wow.
Yeah, man. You won't see me in the film, but I got a free check because I didn't have the right costume and I didn't want to be Atmosphere. But since I signed up to be an extra, they had to send me the check.
That's amazing.
So I did that, saved my money up again because I'm on my other trek back to New York. That's the only thing I had my mind on, going back to New York to get better.
Right. And by the way, I just want to give you credit too, because even in that time, like you're saying, you're sitting there running out of money. Yeah. But you're sitting here watching this Broadway show. Yeah. Because you know that you can learn something from it.
I can learn something from it.
That's a real sacrifice that so many people just wouldn't make.
Wow.
You know what I mean, though?
I think if you're really going to be dedicated to what you're going to do as an actor, musician, athlete, anything, you got to invest in that. 100%. You got to invest in you, and you got to invest in learning from others. That was the best of the best.
Yes.
August Wilson, I didn't know who August Wilson was at the time. No joke. But I did say to myself before I left out of New York, 2 things. I would like to work with August Wilson and James Earl Jones. You know what I mean? That's what I was telling myself. or just get as good as James Earl Jones. Really, I
Right.
think that was more of it. I wanted to be just as good. I wanted to be an actor that can actually carry your weight. Oh, real quick story, because the reason I know he was good is because while we was in the theater, a rat ran across a woman's lap. This was way back in the day when rats was running New York City. You understand? So they was all in the theater.
What?
She screamed bloody fucking hell. And when she did that, everybody was trying to run for the exit. James Earl Jones came to the edge of the stage with that big ass voice and said, "Will y'all please calm down? Turn on the lights. Turn the house lights up." They turned the lights up, and he made everybody calm down. What I learned about professionalism, the actors froze until he finished. They sit back down. They slowly went the lights off. He turned back around and resumed the play. I said, well, look at this fucking control.
You said, I am not ready.
I am not ready. I can't do none of that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And I really like, whoa, that's acting. That's not only just acting, that's commanding your presence on stage and what you're doing and being very comfortable in your body and being able to say, I know what I know. It didn't throw them off. They went right back into the play as if nothing happened. And I done had a few of those since I became an actor. Lights falling in the background, people throwing tops at me. Because, I did the Diary of a Black Man, and I played all those different roles. And I played this gay guy one time, and this other guy just wasn't feeling me one night. He threw a fucking bottle on stage.
What?
Yeah. I was like, damn, dude, you really got a problem with gay people, man.
Threw a bottle on stage?
Yeah, it was plastic. But it had water in it. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to sting my ass, Maestro. I ain't gonna sit and lie to you, man.
That's crazy.
But he got his ass ushered out of there quick by some other cats that saw it. And they, I felt sorry for him afterwards because the dudes that saw him throw that bottle took his ass out of there with the quickness.
Right.
Well, he got a few knots on his head for that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because those guys from the Diary of a Black Man didn't play around. So once again, and I try to, because my story's long, Maestro, so I don't know if you're here to you know
Listen,
what I mean?
we just
I don't
talking.
want to run up all your tape and tell you all, you know what I mean? But it's like I came here to kind of, to express to you how long it's been for me, what it's
continue.
been.
So you got time, bro.
So when I left New York, I decided I wanted to come back, but I wanted to come back right.
Right.
And coming back right to me is have some real money and have some real aims and goals of what I wanted to do. Got back to New York a second time, and aims and goals was there, but I ran out of money again before I actually got anything significant. Except that Spike hired me once for No One in the World's video with Anita Baker, where I played an extra. But I'm gonna tell you how arrogant my black ass is, man. At the end of the day, I went to the production manager looking for my money.
Right.
They said no money. This is a music video. I was like, whoa. Well, hold on. There's no money?
Why am I here?
There's no money? We've been here all day. All day. But that was part of the contract. They said, did you read it? No, I just figured it's like TV. You got cameras rolling. We got to get paid, though. We at the end of the day. But what was really cool was that Spike was really, really generous about giving everybody a tape, a T-shirt, fed as well. Yeah. But it wasn't no money involved. I was like, okay, this is how this game is going to go. Let me figure some other stuff out. So days go on, weeks go on, and I became homeless.
Wow.
Quickly. But I refused to go back home this time. I said, oh, hell no, I can't go back to... Because now they're going to say I'm a twice failure. Right. I came to New York and they ain't get shit. They ain't get shit. Prove. I got something to prove now, man. So I slept on that train. I slept in the park of Central Park. I did all those things, but I kept praying. Because once again, I knew prayer worked. It's the first thing I did in the morning after I got off the bench or out of the trade. I prayed and said, look, God, you didn't bring me this far to fail me. You didn't bring me here to not let some of this happen, But I also know that your dreams and talents got to meet up at some point, right?
Facts.
So for me, I figure if I keep praying, keep getting out there, because I was going out every day dropping my pictures and resumes off to different people, but because I didn't have no real weight, them shits was going right into the garbage can or to whatever. I found that out later too. It was all about you had to have an agent. Man, I didn't have none of that, man. manager. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have a manager. I didn't have none of that. I was thinking that if you're good, you can go play. You know what I mean? It's like almost like the playground mentality.
Yeah.
I got a basketball. You pick the team. Let's play.
Yeah.
So acting was the same in a way. But I learned the business of acting through New York by how it takes a team of people to help you get to your next place if that's where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm going to be here. Let's see what happens. Nothing happened. I became homeless, but I promised myself I wasn't going to leave out of there without a job. The Diary of a Black Man came through. I went to that play with my last few dollars.
Once again.
Yes, sir. And I watched this play, and I started watching. I went, damn, I can do this. I can fit in here. And they traveling too. They'll get my ass out of New York.
Right.
Nothing else. So I waited until after the play was over, and I asked who's the producers, and they was hands-on. They said, I'm the producer. I said, you have an understudy. They didn't have an understudy. I said, oh.
You created a job
I
for
said, hey,
yourself.
look, man, y'all got no understudy. Y'all traveling without any understudy. You need somebody that can do what these do. Is one of them fall down. And the director was standing there, right? And he said, yeah, we never thought about that. These guys never really get sick. You know, they never go down. They're always there on time. I said, but if something happened, they said, okay, well, you know how to act? I said, yeah. It was like a Friday. They gave me the script.
Uh-huh.
They said, well, learn one of the monologues out of there, and we're going to audition you on Monday, on their day off.
Mm-hmm.
Took that script back to my little bench or subway because they didn't know I was homeless. I didn't
Right.
want to let them know I didn't have nowhere to stay. I kept reading over and over, and I learned the whole script. So when we got there, and they auditioned me in a hotel room,
Wow.
producer and the director, they said, okay, do this monologue. So I did the monologue, and they said, oh, what else you got? I said, whatever you want to point to, I got it. They said, can you do this from this page? I said, yeah, I got it, man. And he looked at me like, oh, damn, so you can act, huh? I said, I think I can do something. I said, I can definitely do this play.
Right.
You know what I mean? They said, are you willing to move to Houston? I said, oh, let me just think about it. I got to answer it like tomorrow or whatever. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, I became somewhat close because I was going to the play to watch the play too.
Right.
They gave me that open ticket.
That's dope.
I can go and see the play as long as they're there. So I went back every day to watch the play too and watch the guys how they move. So I figured I needed to rehearse. And as understand that's what you do anyway. You just basically to fill the gaps. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah.
So I learned to play. Took a couple of days to think about it. And I said, sure, I'll move to Houston because all the cast was from Houston.
Oh, okay.
The beauty out of that is that's where I met their mom.
Really?
Yes, sir. If never had
Houston.
taken that play and moved to Houston, I would have never met Naomi. I would have never met their mom.
Wow.
Because she was there to drop a friend off at Thurgood Marshall Law School. She helped her friend drive a car from Chicago to Houston.
Okay, so it just so happened to be.
It just so
Wow.
happened, man. And once again, it was a hustle, bro. They were selling. The producer asked who was willing to help fill the house of the ticket sales in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And they said, well, you got to. I said, well, me and my roommate, we actually put a plan together. We decided we was going to go get a seating chart and basically use our number. You call us and we'll sell you seats to the empty seats that they wasn't selling at the Ticketmasters and other places because they was
Right.
using Ticketmasters back in that time, I think, or going straight to the box office because we was in the hood and it was, the good thing about those cats, they ran ads like crazy, man, on black radios, right?
Okay.
So
Makes sense. Yeah.
people just didn't probably want to go downtown but once, and that was just to see the play.
They don't
So
want to go
we
get
played
the ticket. And go,
right.
yeah,
So
right.
we played the middle people. Like you can come here and buy the ticket. You have the ticket before you go.
Smart.
You know what I
Smart,
mean?
Yeah.
So we set up a Ticketmasters at the house. So we had to answer the phone. We had to do all that. And so my children, mom, my wife, deceased wife, she came to buy a ticket from the house. And when she did, I recognized right away that was mine, man. I was like, oh, man, that'll be kind of cool. And yeah, well, that's a whole nother history. You probably don't want to hear about that as much as I want
But
to,
that's great. I never knew you guys met like that.
That's how we met, man.
Wow.
I met their mom through her coming to buy a ticket at the house. And really, I told her that she needed, when she came to buy a ticket, her and a friend came together real quick. And when they came, they was looking as if, first of all, we in the hood. I'm watching them watch us, right? They come upstairs, but bro, we was legit. When people came, we gave them wine. We had cheese and crackers. We let you look at the seat chart. You pick whatever seat you want. You know what I mean? We had different prices, $25, $35, $45 seats. You know what I mean? But meanwhile, but she came in, she sit on the arm of the couch. I'll never forget that. And I looked, I said, you got any home training? Would you come to your whole house and sit on the side on the arm of the couch? She said, no, is this a real business? I said, okay, that's mine right there, man.
You said, okay.
Yeah,
she gets it.
Yeah, she gets it.
That's
she gets
funny.
it, man. And I remember her leaving, and I told my roommates, I said, I'm going to marry her, man. They said, man, you didn't even get her number. I said, I know, but I know where she's sitting.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I just go where she's sitting, and I said, would she want to come to the party afterwards?
Wow.
And that's how that unfolded, you know what I mean? And then everything just unfolded after that, you know what I mean? So, I'm happy that I was able to recognize Sunshine, man, because once I did, I went for it, man. So instead of just going into my whole life, because that should take forever, my show, let's get to some questions, man.
No, this is what I love to do, man.
Oh, good.
I love to just hear, like, you know what I mean? The conversation can go anywhere, and also just hearing your journey, like, cause like I said, there's so many things that I just never knew. You know?
Man.
Known you for so many years,
but you always knew me as an actor, and that's all I ever done. And that's the coolest thing about my journey is that I never lost focus of what I wanted to do. I said, okay, I'm gonna be an actor, and I'm gonna do this, no matter what it takes. I know so many of my friends I've told this story about being homeless. They said, man, you could have came stay with me. You could have no. I just had to prove to myself I could have done this.
Right.
And you guys didn't have nowhere to stay. You know what I mean? They didn't really. Everybody was couch surfing or something like that.
Right.
And I didn't want to be one of those people. You know what I mean? But once I got a hook in with the Diary of a Black Man, and they was paying the way they was paying, I found something that I feel that it could make me better as an actor.
Right.
And also, I have enough money to sort of support my family now. I wasn't looking to try to be a millionaire. I just wanted to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And it was making really good money. I went from $500 a show to $1,000 a show.
Okay. And you created your own job. That's the best part about it. Like, it's not like you went to some audition for, the understudy of. No, you went there. You told them why they needed you.
Yeah.
And then you proved.
Yeah, man.
That's respect. Nothing but respect.
And at the same time, I look for, because I never wanted to lose focus of how to still be in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really good friend that I did a film with a long time ago, a student film, Zainab Davis. It was called Dark Exodus. She was on, and I will always keep in contact. Like, if you're doing something, let me know.
Right.
And so on my time off from the Diary of a Black Man, I would go and practice with them. I would do that $500 and tape, all that tape in that mill. You probably heard all the older actors say that back then you was getting just, when you did Independence, you was probably getting a tape in a mill.
Oh.
But it's about building your reel because you know that you needed a body of work.
Right.
For Hollywood. Hollywood don't know nothing about no place. Well, not then. They probably barely do now.
Yeah, they're just starting to, it feels like now, but but back then, yeah, for sure.
No, man. No. So I did a lot of independent films. When I say a lot, I did 10. I was like out there just trying to make it happen. But it gave me practice. I knew how to go and stand on the X. Mm-hmm. I knew camera angles. I knew voice control. How, when it was too big or when it was too whatever. I didn't let it be one medium. That's why when people say you're just a theater actor, acting is acting. Mm-hmm. You just got to know how to put it in place and what you're trying to do. And it's really acting that's responding, right? I mean, come on.
That's it.
It's like being as real as you possibly can, feeling it. You can't lie to the body. If you're really feeling something, you're going to feel it inside.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I've learned is that learn those lines. You know what I mean? I respect the writer. I respect if you wrote this, I'm going to say this until you say, oh, this shit don't sound right. You know what I mean?
Right.
You wrote it. If it don't sound right because I said it wrong, then okay. But I respect the writer, man. I respect that process because they inside of that whole creative process too. And when they writing something, they don't want you to fuck it up.
That's
You
true.
know what I mean? So that practice came in handy as I decided, as I went on, because every chance I got, I would work with an independent filmmaker, man. I would every chance I got.
And it taught you probably so much working with different directors,
Different
and doing like it's
directors.
things that you don't know that you'll need later.
Right.
But each project gives you something.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're also planting seeds, believe it or not. If you're showing up
Yep.
and showing out, or you're doing the best you possibly can, your name's gonna get passed on to someone. They're gonna say, hey, I wish I had something more for him, or Jelks can do this, or he can do that, and I wanted to be a character actor. Once again, I was trying to be James Earl Jones and Yaphet Kotto.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I wanted to be known as like, okay, he can step in and he can play this. He can play a preacher.
Right.
He can play,
He's versatile.
It's versatile, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And theater teaches you that, but film don't embrace that. Do you get me?
No, it's a great way to say it. It's very true.
So I figure if I got it, if you call upon it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been taught on both ends of it. You know what I mean? So for me, I was able to practice and raise my family at the same time. What I mean by raising my family is that when I got married, man, I was all in.
Right.
Meaning that I'm not going to not work as an actor, but I'm going to figure out the balance of it, the balance of the two things. How do I can be the best husband, best father, and still go and pretend?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just do as well as I can, especially only in a medium where they say you can't make any money. Stage you can make money if it's a hustle.
Yeah, you gotta be consistent, and you
Gotta
gotta
be
stay
consistent.
on the grind.
Dude, I
but
mean,
there's money in it
there's
if
money
you
in
do
it.
that.
If you do that, I was never without a job.
Yeah.
Because if you see what it was, my show.
Yeah, you was always doing
I was
something.
always, man, working.
Doing something.
Yeah, man. So
Man.
I went, believe it or not, almost 10 years. Died black man.
Wow.
Because it was paying.
Wow.
Almost
That's
decade.
amazing.
Doing one play. Well, people say one play.
Stability.
But I was doing one play with other things on the side.
Right.
Do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
Because they had downtime just like any play. They wasn't a consistent run. We worked sometimes in the beginning 10 months a year, but I watched that go down from 10 to almost 2, in a
Gotcha,
year. And that's when I knew. And I never forget my wife saying at that time, she was saying, you don't want to go down with a sinking ship. So I said, okay, I think I'm going to go to Broadway. And I remember her laughing. She said, how you going to go to Broadway without equity card? I said, okay, I got to get an equity card. Huh?
I love that she knew too. She
Yeah,
like, what you?
I was like, oh, what do you mean? I was like, okay, I can get an equity card.
That's
So Douglas Mann, he helped. I have to admit, got out of Chicago.
okay.
He brought me in to play understudy and gave me what they call points. At that time, you can get points towards equity, right? So I did that play with him, and I got points. And I was like, man, it still wasn't enough.
Right.
And a friend of mine told me about August Wilson that was doing piano lesson in San Francisco at the Lorraine Hansberry Theater. And I knew those guys because my cocky ass, when I was one of my second trips out of San Francisco, they tried to hire me when they first came in.
Oh wow.
So funny how life works, right?
Mm-hmm.
They called me in to play understudy, but I was cocky. I was like, hey, doing no understudy. I'm going to New York. I'm going to be an actor. You know what I mean? Hey, understudy.
No.
No way.
I'm leading man or nothing.
I'm leading man or nothing. Didn't know, man, that, it was a Raisin in the Sun. I wasn't ready for that role, but I was cocky enough to think I could play Walter Lee.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I turned it down. I was like, I ain't being honest. I went on to my life. Went to New York, became homeless, went to Diary Black Man for 10 years. Now, 10 years later, which is almost damn whatever, I ended up back in San Francisco working at their theater company. They was doing piano lesson. And I never forget when I did the play, a friend of mine knew August was coming there with his other play called Jitney.
Okay.
Down at another theater. And he was saying, maybe we get a chance to see, August might come see this play. I said, oh, okay, it'd be nice if he does.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get an equity card so I can go to Broadway. You know what I mean? I never forget, man. One night, I'm leaving dress rehearsal. And I'm walking down the hill to get on the BART to go home, to go to where I was staying.
Yeah.
And August Wilson was standing on the corner. They was doing the load-in for the play Jitney. And I knew who August was because I knew some other people that knew him, you know, that did his play, like my friend Keith David. He had been in, you know, a couple of plays, Seven Guitars, Ruben Santiago Hudson. And so I had been in his presence, but I'd never been around close to August, right? So I saw him, and I said, oh, it's a good time to go up to him and just talk to him. He's standing by himself, smoking a cigarette. So I went up to him, and I said, hey, Mr. Wilson. And he looked at me and said, yeah, what's going on? I said, I'm doing your other play. I even used that word, your other play. He said, what play is that? I said, I'm doing piano lesson up at the Lorraine Hansberry. He said, oh, with those dudes? I ain't know what to say, man. After that, he capped me. I said, yeah, I would love for you to come see it. If you get any time while you're here doing, you know. He said, I might, I might, you know. He said, but Lorraine Hansberry, huh? I said, yeah. Okay. I went on about my business because I figured I had said something crazy or something,
yeah,
right?
because you're like, what's going on?
Right, you know. But what ended up happening, I had a friend that was in Jitney that was actually in the Diary of Black Boy with me.
Wow.
He was actually playing in Jitney. His name was Russell Andrews.
Russell Andrews. Okay.
Yeah, really brilliant actor. He was in Jitney at the time. And so I didn't know this until I saw him walking down the street. He said, Jelks, you know I'm in this play. I said, oh, cool. He said, you want to come to opening night? I said, yeah, man, I'll come.
Right.
I said, but I got to do my play. He said, well, just come to the party. So after our play is finished, I go to the party, and who I see walking out the door as I'm walking in? August Wilson. And I pulled him again, man. I said, Miss Wilson, you know, our play is up and running with George piano lesson. Would you come see it? You know, he said, yeah, I might. I'm going to be leaving soon. Yeah. I said, yeah, but when he got it, he said, I'm going to try. He said, so what's your name again? I told him my name. He said, all right. His assistant was standing there. Uh-huh. Dina, her name was Dina. She was standing next to him. And I remember her writing it down. He left out. So I went back the next day, man, to my play. And I was telling everybody, hey, August Wilson gonna come. August Wilson gonna come. August Wilson gonna come. And I remember the producer looking at me and the directors, and they going like, yeah, August is definitely gonna come. Sure. Bruh, from that point on, for the next 4 days, they would come to the dressing room every night and said, guess who out there? August Wilson. August Wilson's out there. So I was like, oh, damn, good. August Wilson wasn't out there. He wasn't there, maestro. So it got to the point I figured, y'all gaslighting me now. I'm going to do the performance I'm going to do anyway.
Right.
You get me? But I should have kept my big mouth closed because now y'all playing with me, telling me every night he's out there like, you better pump it up. You got to do well because August's out there. Make sure we got a good show. And so, you know, fourth night, never forget. It was third night because it was on a Saturday. I'll never forget. And they filmed this. So I got this on film. They filmed. That's when he was doing, like, they have to archive at least one play. One performance right. of the play. And they was filming that night. And, which was a good thing, because I ended up getting that copy, and I can always remember the night that August finally came.
Right.
And I'll never forget, man. They came backstage. You know, August is here, man. He's here. I said, yeah, right. Yeah, he's here. But, bro, I have to truly admit, I have the best show I possibly can. And what I mean by show best you possibly can, because I don't remember it as much as it was an out-of-body experience. Right. It was one of those.
You just in it.
I was in it, man.
Yeah.
I was in it, man. I was like, man, I was feeling it. You know, you just say, okay, if I don't do another performance of this play, and we only had 2 more performances to do. We had that Saturday and the 2 Sunday shows. Mm-hmm. That Saturday night and 2 Sunday shows, and that was going to be the end of it. And so it was one of them things, you got to go all out. You know what I mean? I said, I'm going Finish all strong. Out, have a good time. I'm going to be like, just honor the work. Mm-hmm. Never forget. They came backstage after the play was over with, all geeked. You know, August out there. You better hurry and get dressed. August out. I said, man, get out of here. I laid on the floor for 45 minutes because I was tired. I played Boy Willie, by the way. I was laid on the floor. Took my time getting dressed, knowing that August ain't out there.
Right.
I walk out to the lobby. The whole lobby is full. because August is there.
Wow.
Everybody's out there. He's signing autographs. He see me and he make a beeline. He's like, stop signing autographs. Came straight over to me. He said, damn, you a bad motherfucker. I said, if you really think so, you put me in your next play. Maestro, he looked at me and said, okay. All right. Yeah. And then we talked a little bit about different things. And
Yeah.
He signed a couple autographs and he left. And he said, what you and August talk about? I said, that's my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But here's what was really cool. I get a call. The day after that play closed on a Monday, I'm sitting there on a Monday, packing my stuff, about to head back to Pasadena because my wife was there and we had just had Jamila.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm on my way back, but all I'm thinking about, I got my equity card.
Right.
I got my equity card now, so I'm on my way to Broadway some way. I get a call, right? And I never forget the casting director saying to me, I don't know who you are, but August wants you to be in Joe Turner. Can you be in Kansas City in 4 days? I said, yeah, but they said, look, we definitely still need you to put a monologue on tape because the director don't know you. He want to see how you sound. I said, okay. He said, but August wants you, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
They said, well, we want you guys, can you be here? Yeah, I don't have no manager, I don't have no agent. And they only helped me kind of figure out the logistics of, it was favored nations.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy. Everybody's getting paid the same. Transportation, da-da-da-da. They're going to fly me in, put me up. But I got an equity card now. So I'm getting ready to get points. I'm getting ready to get all kinds of good stuff, right? And what I mean by good stuff is like health insurance.
Health insurance, yeah.
That's the good stuff.
That's the best
good
stuff,
right?
Yeah.
You can say, okay, I got health insurance. So
Very quickly, that's still recording, right? Okay, just make sure. Keep an eye on it.
So I never forget, I did the audition on tape, which was an audition. He just wanted to hear what I sound like. Sent it off. And I never forgot, this is a really crazy part of the story. I was excited. So I went to my teacher. The one that told me, Johnny, you should go to New York. And she's still teaching at City College.
Yeah.
And she had all the stuff that I needed to get myself on tape really quickly because they wanted me to send it off that day.
So that made sense, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I called her up. She said, yeah, come up here. When she ready, she went, Johnny, you playing Hair Loomis. Hair Loomis is 6'5", 6'7". You sure they want you to play? I said, well, they say he want me to be Harold Loomis and piano, and Joe Turner Come and Gone. She said, okay. Did that, never forget, sent the tape off, get to Kansas City on that Saturday, I think it was Friday, Saturday. And as soon as I get there, I'm there and I landed at the same time as the director, Mary McClinton. And you know what he said? He said, if you're willing, we want you to do Joe Turner again at Penumbra Theater after this run. And this is after not one day of rehearsal.
Wow.
We haven't even rehearsed one day. What I found out when I went into the first day of rehearsal, all the actors are looking at me snickering and laughing, going on. Tracy Thoms is one. You know Tracy Thoms?
Tracy Thoms.
Yeah.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's a brilliant actress. I think she's on 911 right now. Really brilliant actor.
Because I know that name.
Heather Sims, I'll never forget. Them two was sitting in the corner, and I remember Heather Sims coming up to me and saying, you got an actor mad at you. I said, what do you mean? You know they fired somebody to hire you.
Oh.
I said, whoa. We good?
Oh, you know what? It's probably not plugged in. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Oh, man, take your time, man. These stories are forever, man.
And cut, like, I do really open format, just like conversational, like, because
Yeah.
I like it. Like, I like I hate the typical, so how'd you get started?
Yeah.
And then what's it like being on set with, like, no, like, I don't like
Yeah,
that. You know
I
what mean?
appreciate that about you, man. You let me just be long-winded and talk, man.
Yeah, because
like you said, you've been around me, but you never knew the whole journey of what it was for me.
Yeah, and I enjoy hearing people's stories, and then it also, I've learned, it changes a lot of times for the better, most of the time, even just your perspective of a person, because you don't know all the things that they went through to be the person you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
You don't know, like, even just hearing all the things from, you being homeless out in New York, all the way to, like, how you met your wife and how all these things, it's just like, wow, these are these are key moments in the story
Yeah.
of your overall story that, I've only known the surface of.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
please feel
so
free, man.
I left off getting my.
Yeah, you said there's an actor mad at you.
Oh yeah, man. I don't still know his name today, and I'm kind of glad because it's cooler that way. You know what I mean? It's better that way. But they got rid of him to hire me for that particular project, and I'll never forget her telling me that. I said, "Well, I had nothing to do with it. I asked for a job. That's all I did." I said, "Put me in your next project," and he did that. That's the thing how magic happens. When I said, "Look, put me in your next job," I was in a job working with August Wilson less than 4 days later.
That's amazing.
You get me? And that
initiative too, though.
And it took off from there. But I was ready, Maestro. I did 10 years as a giant black man. I already knew what it felt like to be on the stage and be very comfortable.
Right.
I've studied enough of August Wilson. I've seen enough of his plays. I'd seen all his plays up to that point. I knew what actors needed to bring to these plays.
But do you know how many people don't walk over and talk to him when they see him smoking that cigarette?
I know.
Do you know how many people don't? You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's just you understanding what you needed and where you wanted to go, but it's still just that is because you can be ready. You could have been ready, but every time you saw the man, hey, we're doing. Make sure you made a point and you weren't afraid. You weren't scared. You weren't fearful. You knew what you needed and you went and got it.
Because I wanted to honor his work.
Right.
I did. I mean, I felt privileged to be in an August Wilson play.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't original. It didn't matter to me. It was a play that I get a chance to say these lines. Because August wrote in a way that we, as black men, identified with these characters. These people jumped off at the page. Even the women in the play, I knew them as aunts. Mothers and grandmothers. You know what I mean? All the men, I knew them as uncles, guys down the street, players, and and all these other guys. And he never wrote any villains. Which was the coolest thing.
Right.
There are no villains here, man. So all you have to do is play true to life.
Yeah.
True to life is one of the hardest things for actors to play.
Yeah.
Can you play true to life? Meaning that this is what life is, play that. He wrote it, and if you was privileged enough to do any of his work, all you got to do is just play true to life. That's what I did. So went from Joe Turner once to Joe Turner twice. It was like a co-pro. Back to back, right? Mm-hmm. And the opening night of the second Joe Turner up at Penumbra, I'll never forget, he was so happy that I was able to deliver what he had been bragging to other people. This actor can get down, you know what I mean? He's ready. You know what I mean? That he promised me a job, right? He said, I'm writing this play. It's called Jim of the Ocean. And this play it's a play. You know what I mean? It's got characters like Citizen and da-da-da-da. He said, would you be interested in playing understudy? Because we got an actor that we hope to do it. And he said hope to do it because he really wanted his actor to do it. And it was Denzel. He wanted Denzel to play it. Because he always had his favorite actors that he wanted to work with.
Right.
And I said, yeah, absolutely. And I don't have no problem, man. I'll be understudy. Yes. Yeah. Opening night. Never forget this, man. Opening night. He said that. It was like he came to me and told me this, right? Mm-hmm. And Marion McClinton, which was his director at the time, said the same thing. He said, the man, he used to call him the man, the man wants you to be the understudy for his new play, Citizen, the character. I said, man, no problem.
Right.
I was on top of the moon, man. And we opened the play. It was only a 3-week run. On that with an extension. I never forget the extension. This is why I don't do extensions to no plays to this day. I got a call on the last day of the play that I was just supposed to be going home, but didn't because they had an extension.
Right.
That my wife had passed. My kid's mother had just had an accident. Damn. And I had said, fuck acting. Fuck anything that ain't got nothing to do with my children.
Right.
I'm going home. I don't want to be an actor no more. I don't want to do none of that. Nah, I'm going to stay at home and try to figure it out. I had a little money at that time, some saved, and plus, I figure I can do something. I'm still pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Young enough to say, okay, I got 3 kids and I got to take care of them. If I got to go and be, work at the post office, I'm going to do what I got to do.
Right.
If I got to go to Ralph's and say, paper plastic, it don't matter to me, man. Job is job. As long as I can take care of my kids. Acting was something that I love doing. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
But I had a family now. And
You need
but I got a
tangible.
family, but with one less component, which was one of the most important component to me, which is the mother.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I went home and started concentrating on trying to be there. And I never forget, August called me twice, Marion called me twice, and they asked me to come to New York just to see the play. And my mom was with me at the time, and I never forget, she said, you need to get out of the house. They're sending you a ticket, they're telling you to come to see the Broadway play, and they was doing a revival of, Ma Rainey, I think it was. Whoopi played that role at the time. That's why I'll never forget it. Whoopi played Ma.
That's crazy.
It was good, man. Never forget. So I said, okay, I'll go to New York. But I'm going to just go to New York, see the play, and come home. Went to New York. And as soon as I checked in the hotel, I like to just take a walk, man. At that time, I had early morning walks, get my thoughts together, whatnot. Walked down the block, and who do I see?
August Wilson.
August Wilson, man. We stand at the end of the block, man. We sit and talk, bruh, for 3 hours. Just about other stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about life, about trying to be in the play or whatever and all that. He was concentrating on the revival of his play, Ma Rainey anyway, and what was happening. But he said to me, we're coming to Chicago for our first run of Jiminy Ocean. And I would like for you to be a part of it, if you're up to it. He said, I would like for you to, come and be a part of it. So that was like an open invitation, right?
Right.
Saw the play, went home. I get a call from Marion. Marion said, we're coming to Chicago in another month. Kenny Leon is going to be playing the role of Citizen.
Okay.
And they would like for you to be an understudy with a guarantee to go on. You're going to do the last week of this play. Because either Kenny had an obligation or they just want to see what I had. I don't know really to this day what happened. So what ended up happening is that I got, and then he said, now here's the only stipulation. I want you in the room from day one. Usually they don't bring the understudies into the room until after the 3 weeks of rehearsal.
Okay. So the lead can build his thing.
So everybody can build. The understudy don't see none of the process.
Right.
He said, I don't want that. You got to be here from day one, from the first day of rehearsal on.
That's dope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, but here's how life is, maestro. Real crazy, real quick. I always say real quick, but it ended up being some crazy madness, right? Never forget I had to rent a car at the time because I'm waiting on a car. Because I didn't buy a car right away because I did a lot of research for cars after that. After their mom passed in a car accident, I was like, I got to get a safe car. So I was renting cars until I bought the next car. So I had rented this car, but I had to take that car back to the airport at Midway. So you know where we lived at the time, right? We was over there off the 63rd and Drexel. Yeah. So here was the run. I had to get that car to Midway before rehearsal, which was at 10:30. I had to drop them off at McDade. Do you get me? Right. Hooked around, hit 55th, take that car back, and I was just going to catch a cab down to the Goodman Theater for the rehearsal. Right. Dude, I'm flying, man. I'm like trying to make it happen. Yeah. Dropped him off at McDade, took that right, whoop, whoop, hit on 55th, and next thing you know, I am like going down 55th, heading towards Midway. Traffic kind of moves at its own pace down 55th. You know how that goes, right?
Okay, yeah.
It moves. People got their own speed and lanes.
Everybody doing their own thing.
As long as they getting down there at 55th, you know what I mean? I always say it was a freeway without being a freeway. Uh-huh. So I'm driving behind someone that decided, he going to slow down. I said, I'm on a time limit. I'm looking at my clock. I got to get there and drop this car off and get it. So I hop from behind him and I gun it. Boom. I went from 65 to 85 and like everybody else is traveling like that down, Yeah. So Somebody come across.
Oh, no.
I didn't see him until I saw his white of his eyes. I mean, they lit up like light bulbs. I hit him so hard, my story sounded like a bomb going off. Boom. I'm talking about hard. I mean, to the point that my bumper hooked his bumper, car flips, turn, we slides up into like the island. You know how big those islands were?
Yeah.
Hit a fire hydrant right before we did that, and my car spent around, right?
Yeah.
And just was like, and then it landed back on two wheels, right? Never forget that, but the airbags kind of knocked the fucking wind out of me, man. So I'm kind of half-ass dazed. Dude tried to take off. Busted radiator, half, whatever.
What?
Yeah, you probably never heard this story, my story.
No.
But yeah, man, this is the first day of rehearsal now.
Wait, which car was this? Was this the
It was a rental car.
Was it the Nissan truck thing?
No, it was a big car. I will never forget. It was I rented like a. It wasn't a Cadillac. It wasn't Cadillac. I think it was kind of like it was 4-door.
Kind of like a Denali Yukon type deal or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like.
That's crazy.
But come to find out, he was smoking crack.
Yeah.
That's what they told me later, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they caught him later trying to run. You know what I mean? Dude. But what I never forget is that once I got out of the car and I checked my body, it wasn't that broken. I just laid on the ground, man. I just said, fuck.
Right.
All the things that can happen today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get to the hospital, man. I never forget, man. When they took me to the hospital, because we went to the nearest hospital, and they checked me out, x-rayed me and all this. Dude, you ain't nothing. You ain't got no broken bones, none of that. You're good. Do you want to just call somebody to come pick you up? I said, no, I'm going to walk home. I walked home from Mercy all the way to Drexel because I needed to think. I needed to figure it out.
Right.
I get home. I think that I called my mom, told her not to panic. But they had been calling from the theater.
Right, that's what
and
I
my
figured.
mom didn't know how to say it other than, John was just in the car accident. So they thought I was dead. They did.
Right.
Because I didn't call them. I just showed up at rehearsal the next day. Never forget, when I walked in, August looked at me and said, man, I am so glad you're okay. What? I told him what happened. He said, dude, you do know that you meant to be in this room. I said, I guess so. Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go. And that's what ended up happening. Ended up doing the play. They never got any standing ovations for Citizen until I did my last week. I still like to say that, man. I still like to say that only because people was going like, oh, man, who is this guy? Is he going to be any, you know? I knew Citizen, man. Citizen was suffering from redemption. He was suffering from trying to figure out how to make a wrong a right. And I'm going through so much pain, man. So much grieving in a way that I'm like, but I can't not work too.
Right.
I got to figure out how to work and grieve. And Jimmy Olsen gave me that opportunity to do that because of that character. That character was part of flushing out for me what I was already going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm happy to August for that. And so the rest is kind of like history. I ended up walking that all the way to Broadway. Yeah, man.
Like
so I got
said,
to
like
Broadway.
You're gonna do. Yeah.
I got to Broadway, man. I got to Broadway that way.
Right.
Once I got to Broadway, that's when I got an agent.
All the work been done.
Yeah, man.
I'm on Broadway. Oh, now you find me.
Yeah, man. But they was dropping they cars in my. You get little mail slots where you know, it's like any other show. They give you actors.
Yeah, the little mail slot.
Just in case you get fan letters or whatever, they put them in your slot. So when you check in to, for your half an hour, you check your mailbox.
Right.
So I used to check mine every day, and I go like, oh, I didn't know who these people were.
Right.
Getty's, innovative artists. These people go like whatever. And so one day I'm showing them to Felicia. Felicia Rashad became a really good friend of mine, right? And she said, John, I'm with Innovative. You might want to just give them a call, see what they say. But before I can call them, one of the assistants that's the lead now, he's my lead agent, would come to the play every day and wait for me backstage, and he would just introduce himself. My name is Brian, and I would love to represent you. Would you come and just do an interview down here today? We think you're incredible. We think that you're really good. We think you're good. Okay, man. Hey, when I get a Monday off, shit, every Monday I had off, I spent with my kids while I laid up in bed, man. Well, not really laid up in bed. I relaxed.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, because you're on your feet and you're doing the same thing for 2 shows a day sometimes for 6 to 7 days
8
a week.
shows a week, man.
That's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, man. Yeah. So you think I want to go and be interviewed? I figure I'm okay.
Yeah, right.
But that led to everything else because it was time to have an agent. It was time to have some other people fighting for me and helping me navigate this murky waters of the entertainment business to the next job. Because once getting to Broadway, it's about how you're going to stay.
Stay on Broadway.
Yep. Real quick story. When that play ended, I was back in Pasadena and happy. I came back to California, kids in school, and had a little money. Figured and then I heard about August doing another play. But he had told me about this play. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm doing this play called Radio Golf. I said, okay. He said, I asked him, and once again, I've asked him, I said, anything for me? He said, I don't know, the parts. Everybody there kind of old, they in their 50s, you know what I mean? Actually, I'm in my 40s at this point, but I started graying at 16.
Right.
So that time I had off, I said, can I get an audition? He said, yeah, Marion get you audition. They audition. I said, all right. I said, okay. So I went home for 6 weeks, and I just let my beard grow, let my hair grow, just let the gray just come out in any way that form it came. So I flew myself to New York on a red eye.
Investing.
I did, just to audition, because I was going to catch the plane back that same night, back to California. I had one day to do this, Monday. I came in on a Monday, left on a Monday.
Wow.
I'll never forget this. I caught the flight on a Sunday night.
Sunday night,
really? Landed in New York at 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday. They had to audition started around 1.
Right.
And I was first up because Marion gave me that because I told him, look, I'm probably going to end up having to get back on the plane. And this was all by phone. He haven't seen me in weeks, man.
Right.
A couple months. So when I walk in the room, they look and they going, where's Jelks? I had a beard, man. I had gray.
But completely different.
Right. But when I walked in that room, man, the cast that I saw that was waiting, man, I was like, wow, these are the biggest of the elite. This is everybody.
Right.
Went in there and I did my thing with playing, reading the role of Sterling. Left, got on the plane. When I landed that Tuesday morning, I got a phone call. And they said, we would like to hire you as playing Sterling. Wow. Could you come and we're going to do it first at Yale and then we're going to try to travel this play around. I didn't know August Wilson was sick at the time, man. I am so happy that I got hired for that job. I am so happy that I was able to go in and audition and not say someone gave me the role after doing Citizen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because it's starting to be rumors that August was feeling sorry for me because I lost my wife and I got kids at home. But it was so far from the truth, man. August was about talent.
Yeah, and he respected your work. That's what from the beginning.
That was what it was about. He respected work, man, and how hard you work and whether or not you're really ready to work on his pieces. Mm-hmm. So I was really ready to go all in. So we get to Yale. It ended up being 29 pages. Wasn't even a complete play. And I remember the director was like shitting bricks, man. He was like, well, we got to put these. But I had worked with August already. I already knew he was going to come back, and Chisholm, too. Anthony, great, rest in peace, the great Mr. Anthony Chisholm.
Amazing actor.
Man.
Amazing actor.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of a kind. It won't be another Anthony Chisholm, ever.
Yeah. He
said, Jelks, we ain't going to panic. I said, no, we're not, man. We're going to be, He said, August will be in here with 30 more pages tomorrow. And so was to be true. He came in the next day with 30, the next day with another 30, and the play was done. And we just worked on it. We flushed the play out. And the next run was Los Angeles. So we came to the Mark Taper to do it there. And knowing that it's going to Broadway, But when we got to Los Angeles, that's when we got the news that he had passed away. That he had cancer, that he was passing away.
Right.
Dude, saddest day of my life, man. Because that happened less than 2 years after my wife passed. You know what I mean? Somewhere around there, man. Maybe 3. So I'm going like, wow, what else can happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I learned something from that about taking the good with the bad and still able to move on, because everybody come here for a reason. Everybody come here to do what they need to do. He came here to do 10 plays. Who to say that on the 10th play he was going to leave the planet, man?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I had to honor that. With whatever every fiber I had in my body as an artist and an actor, I was going to go all in. I didn't care how long it took to get this play to Broadway. I'm here.
Right.
You don't know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they walked us there, man. We didn't sprint to Broadway like he wanted to. He wanted to do 2 cities and in. We ended up doing that play for 2.5 years on the road. That's how I was able to see you down there at the Wire. Bring the boys.
In Baltimore, right?
In Baltimore, we was doing the Wire, man. We hung out. We was in Baltimore doing the play.
That's crazy.
It wasn't bad.
Fact.
I was happy.
And we saw the play. Yeah, I remember that. I wore a pink Abercrombie polo.
Oh, see, you remember what he was wearing. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
But no, they had a blast, man. They was able to hang out with you for summer.
We had a good time.
They got a chance to come on the set, man. They had a chance to play basketball with the big guys. It was, you know what I mean? That's all they talked about. And I'm there just hammering out the play 8 days a week. And that whole game came to see the play. I ended up meeting a lot of cats, man. Michael, all those guys from that series came to see the play.
Right.
Became, close to them.
Even I remember we have a picture with Wendell. Wendell was there.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I was like, this journey is for real, meaning that you're on a purpose journey to meet other people too in this.
Part of it.
So that's why I was happy that I didn't complain. Now, did I want to go from 2 cities straight to Broadway again? Yeah, because at that time I started making up in my mind that plays got to lead somewhere now.
I'm not just doing them to do them.
No, they got to lead to, my kids are getting older now. I got to start thinking about college funds. I got to start thinking about other things. So I need to be making some money in TV and film. But one thing I always said to myself, Hollywood ain't going nowhere. I just need to meet Hollywood where I'm at.
And that's the best way to meet it.
That's how I was.
Because other than that, you running around trying to chase them, and that never works out.
Right. Yeah. So I decided, okay, I'm going to stay with these plays and just make them work if they're playing and benefits once again. Practically, they always came with medical benefits.
Got to keep that going.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So if my kid slipped down, fell, broke an ankle, or, needed surgery, I didn't have to come out of pocket, man.
Right.
So that was like, okay, as long as I can pay the rent.
And that's what I'm working for.
That's what I'm working for. Working for that. So those plays enabled me to do that. I was able to say, okay, but radio golf paid off in such a big way.
Right.
Not only that, we went to Broadway and had a good run. Anthony Chisholm and myself got nominated for Tonys.
It's amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when they was trying to figure out, doing some of the interviews, they would ask, oh, who you rooting for? Are you rooting for? I said, I'm rooting for Mr. Anthony Chisholm. You understand? You'll get it. I'm here for the ride, man.
Right.
I'm here to not to have a good time, but I'm here to honor August. Same for the awards for the most part. It's really here for, if you had to give it to anybody, give it to him.
Right. Okay.
He's been here for a minute doing this.
A while.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And putting down great work. And if this Tony's going to give him more recognition, give it to him.
Well, he got this time.
Yeah, give it to him. That's how I felt about it. He would look at me strange, man, every time I said that. Really? Dude, I'm getting benefits, you hear me? You hear me?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm still even whatever,
Yeah.
And at that time, I started having what they call a investment fund, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
401k.
Yeah.
Shit like that, you know what I mean? So I'm going like, okay, at the end of the day, I may end up with some money after I turn like 95. You know what I mean?
That's how it works.
So that play and that Tony nomination put me in a place. Now I have an agent, right? I'm an innovator. I did the second play. And of course they're going to ask you what you want to do next. I said, I want to do TV and film. But I don't want to do just little stuff. Either I want to do guest star or I want to be a series regular.
Because that's the only money, where the money is. Everything
I
else
read
is
the rule
just,
books, Maestro.
Yeah.
One thing for sure, once you get in these unions, I tell people read the rules. Because there's a lot of them. You get me? They tell you how when you eat, where to sleep, how much money you're getting, what you ain't gonna get, who's top bill, single card, this, da-da-da-da-da. I
And
read
it
the
all
rules,
makes
man.
a big difference.
It makes a big
Because
difference.
co-star and guest star are not the same thing.
It's not the same
And
thing.
recurring and series regular are not the same thing.
So I decided, okay, I'm going to put demands on myself and not let them dictate the demands.
Right.
And I told myself, okay, I'm going to do a few guest stars. And then I want to be a reoccurring.
Right.
And I'll never forget, they, well, you know, you got to move, you got to build a reel. I said, well, okay, I hear you, but do you hear me? Oh, I pissed them off something terrible, man, after that. Because when they would want to send me off to another guest star, I was like, I did that one already. But you didn't do it for, you did Blue Bloods, but you
Yeah.
didn't do.
But it's the same role.
But I'm going like, but
Same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't get me 2 or more, 3 or more, let me go and do this play.
Right.
This play, I get benefits. Once
And that
again,
makes more sense.
you get me?
Yeah.
So I went and did a play, and I did a bunch of plays where I was bouncing back and forth doing guest star roles on everybody's other show.
That's smart.
And I decided I was going to do that until Jamila graduated from college. And when she graduated from college, they asked me this question again. What you want to do? I said, well, now it's got to be reoccurring or series regular.
Yeah. And that's it. I've
And
done the
that's
guest
it.
stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening with that, I bumped around a couple more, a little here and there. I would go anywhere. I went to the Dominican Republic and did Island, which they say was one of the worst series they ever seen in their life. You know what I mean? No, I didn't say that. Rotten Apple said that. Or whatever.
Rotten Tomato.
It's Rotten Tomato, man. I said Rotten Apple, man. Same difference, man. I said, oh, y'all serious? That can't be the worst shit you seen. You know what I mean? You know what I
There's
mean?
some worse stuff out here.
It's got to be something bad, worse than that. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? But they didn't have anything to say about the actors. You know what I mean? They were
Yeah.
just saying that the concept and where it was set. And it's just
How long were you in Dominican Republic?
Man, here's the deal, man. I was only there for maybe 10 days.
And what part?
I played Professor Verne. I played 2. They did back-to-back episodes, so I was a shootout for me. They shot me out.
Okay.
I did all, I worked in like 7 days.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which was cool. I did 2 episodes, 7 days, and I'm back in the States.
Hey. Yeah.
Back in another play. You get me?
Yeah. Back to it.
Because once I read the rules and figured out you got to make so much money, a certain amount of money, which at that time I think was almost $50,000 to get benefits. Back
Yep.
to the benefits. You know what I mean? I gotta have benefits, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And
I just
you got those residuals help out now, but it's still like
now that's
But the-
before they
it-
changed the
change the
rules. I
rules,
read
yeah.
the rules, man.
Yeah.
But these rules were saying you gotta make this amount of money to get benefits.
right.
So I went back and did another play because 12 weeks was the guarantee for benefits on equity plays, and I got an equity card, right? So you understand? I got a card now, so I can go around the world.
Doing this.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep doing this as long as you can pay me. And here's the deal: I was at the top of the food chain when it came to theater.
Mm-hmm.
There was always jobs that paid enough
Right.
for me to take care of my basic, more than basic needs: food, shelter, kids, tuition, stuff like that.
Right.
I just had no savings, but I had benefits. Once again, I had
And benefits.
I'm gonna keep saying that word because I want actors to get it, man.
Because
You
that's
want-
what it is.
You want benefits, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to be able to sit there. My back hurt. You want to go be able to get it checked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without laying there going like, damn, I ain't got no medical coverage.
Yeah. How am I gonna pay for this?
Yeah, and they don't treat you well at the county. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You know.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
You don't
Yeah.
want to be there,
You don't.
especially if something goes really wrong.
If something go really wrong, you don't want to be
You
there.
don't want to be there.
So I went back and forth with plays until I can get what I wanted from the reoccurring because I figured that was the next thing. Guest star reoccurring.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if I wasn't doing the play, I would do somebody's show, but I wanted to make sure I did at least 3, 4
Right.
episodes because I'm still trying to build up to that point I can get some benefits. But I was like, I'm not going to leave doing this until Jamila get to college. And almost out. And she just graduated 2 years ago. year and a half ago. Yeah.
It's two, right?
Last year.
Last year. Okay.
I should be able to keep up with it. I was so happy, man. So you understand.
You were like, yes.
Because now I can dedicate full time.
Right.
Now I'm telling myself I'm not doing any more theater. You pointed the first people hearing this, right? So,
Man.
But once again, if I don't do no more theater, where's the benefits?
Where the benefits coming from?
Right. So I'll never forget New Amsterdam hired me for a 3-show arc, and I ended up doing 8.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I got benefits, man.
You said I could do what I want.
I
Okay,
got
I'm over here
benefits
now.
I'm over here now. And then COVID happened. You heard. And so with that, well, it was in the middle of COVID, so I worked through COVID. So I'm not saying that things kind of slowed down in the industry.
Right, yeah. Big time.
You know what I mean. It slowed down for everybody. I wasn't the only person. Everybody's affected. I was really blessed to be still working. And this project, which leads up to Exhibiting Forgiveness, came along through an audition. True story. I did an audition, me and Jabari, my son, because Jabari's working on a documentary. They call him Jelks.
Yeah.
So, most of the stuff you hearing here today, my story is going to be all in that, hopefully. You know what I mean? I hope that he tell it all, because I told him, don't hold back, man. There's a lot. My story's real and it's big. You know what I mean?
No,
but I did it. You know what I mean? So, we was in the Bay Area getting some coverage for my family. And my manager called me up and said, we got this audition for this independent film called Exhibiting Forgiveness. I think you're right for it. Everybody think you're right for it. Why don't you read for it? This was a Friday. They said, it was a Thursday. We need you to put yourself on tape by Friday. I said, okay, but I'm not doing it until Monday. I get back to Chicago on Monday. They said, you sure? You sure? They really need it by Friday. I said, well,
right.
they're going to have to I'm here doing something else. They said, okay, I'm going to make a few calls. I get back on Monday, and I never forget, I put it on tape. It was a brilliant piece. All I had was the monologue. It was a long monologue. I did it. And I just said, okay, I just let it fly. I did it, let it go. Didn't hear anything. Week went by. And I'm shooting basketball at LA Fitness. You think about shit, man. It's a real serious. I was just fucking up there shooting basketball, And I get a phone call. And it's Titus. He said, you may not know who I am, but you auditioned for my film, Exhibiting Forgiveness. And I would like to have a conversation with you. I said, sure. He said, can I fly to Chicago? I said, yes, sir, you can fly to Chicago. He said, when I come, I want to talk to you about a few things. And, but I think you'd be perfect for this role that I wrote and da-da-da-da. So he came, and then he gave me the backstory of what happened with my tape and what went down. The backstory of this is that they was looking for a bigger name.
Okay.
Producers can do whatever they want to do. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their thing. And he was saying that he was stuck on trying to keep it where he wanted it to land. Not saying he had to handpick every actor, but in his mind, the picture that he was trying to paint, he wanted to make sure that each actor fit into these places, like he see the strokes of the paintings on the canvas.
Right.
And I'm really happy he explained it like that, because once I read it, first thing I told him, I said, man, the only thing that's missing from this is me.
Right.
He laughed. He said, I said, yeah, man, I'm just telling you. I can bring what you asked me for on this page. I see me. I see this guy. Not me, but I see who he is.
Right.
So we spent the weekend, and he told me the story. I mean, I'm going to tell you, but maybe you might want to hold it until later. But he said, yeah, they didn't want you. The producers, not that they didn't want you, they just wanted a bigger name.
Right.
He said, I'm going to go and I'm going to fight for you. And he went, and that's what he did. He fought, and he said, look, I need to have this guy.
Wow.
I want this guy to play this role. And they gave in, or they compromised. And once again, I felt that I had to go and not just prove myself, but just show with all my real arsenal of what I could do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And plus, it was already there on the page. And I learned from, it's a saying we have in theater. If it's on the page, you can take it to the stage. So if it's on the page, and you know that this writer wrote it from a true place, just play the truth.
Just play the truth. Yeah.
Everybody played the truth in this. That's why when I came, you saw it.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
It's all truth, meaning the truth that he told and wanted to tell us. Now it's about his whole life, no, but it's truth of how he saw this and what this looks like.
Yeah.
You know, what forgiveness looked like after trauma in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So.
And you had to definitely stretch your acting muscles.
Well, what was really cool, I got a chance to play, and which I thought was going to be the most difficult part, is the flashbacks. He wanted me to age myself backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They did a great job, though.
This ain't Benjamin Button, baby. You know what I mean? There's no way. I mean,
the facial hair does the hair though does so much.
Oh, dude.
So much, because once when you're clean, the age come up. Like,
the cool thing is that makeup and costume, man, they was on it, man. All components worked. It was one of these things where everything worked. When it all works, man, so you got the perfect storm, man. You got the perfect everything, right? You know what I mean? So I was happy to be a part of this. And I'm happy that it's getting the life that it's getting now. And that's where we at now. So we here. You know what I mean?
He said we here.
We here, man.
You had the screening yesterday, right?
We did. Yeah, we had a good screening yesterday. It wasn't so much of a screening. It was a screening, but it wasn't an opening.
Okay, right.
The opening is going to happen October the 18th with a premiere October 7th in New York City.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was talking to Jabari. He was telling me everybody from Oprah to Serena Williams to everybody was there.
Yeah, yesterday. They came out, man. They came out because they're in love with Titus too, because he's such a renowned painter.
Yeah,
an artist.
And the paintings in the film are incredible.
Oh man,
I remember watching it and being like, he
did all of them himself. Right?
Yeah. He
was up late, man, painting and filming.
Wild.
Painting and filming. And Andre, man, God, he learned how to paint, man. Some of those strokes are his strokes on those canvases, because he said for him to do this role, he had to learn how to paint. So he spent 3 months with him or more. He would come over, and hang out at the studio and learn how to paint, because he said he didn't want no fakery in this story of how it's going to be and how it's going to, until, I can't talk a lot about it until it drop, but yeah, when people see this, they're going to go like, wow. It's like you see a master at work, to say this is first time making a film or doing something like that. It's like, incredible. It won't be his last. That's what doggone sure.
Not at all.
Not at all. So yeah, man, the mic is over, Mike. So what you want to ask, man?
Man, no, that's the
beginning to where I'm at now. That's what I mean. How it started for me, how it landed, and where I'm at right now. Oh, and also I need to mention, I guess, is that I'm playing an oncologist on Chicago Med. I got reoccurring. I had 6 episodes last season 9, and it's now season 10. I got 7. I did 2, and I got 5 more to go. And I'm having a blast.
You know what that sounds like, right?
What?
Benefits.
Benefits. You heard? Benefits and the residual.
Man, double whammy.
You get me? Man. So I'm in a happy place, man, because now my kids are grown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I decided I can come out here and really play with everybody and do anything without feeling like I got to rush back.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can take your time.
I can take my time.
Yeah.
What I want to do is try to breathe into it now. I want to try to say, okay, I want to work with as many brilliant actors and directors as I possibly can. Because a lot of people think I'm showing up late at the party because I'm 65. You know what I mean? But I'm here.
But you've been putting in so much work that they haven't
put in a lot of hours, man.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the way that Jabari explained that he's going to do this, he's going to break it into hours and minutes. And I want to be able to quote that one day. How many fucking minutes did I really do? How many hours did I really do?
They say 10,000 hours. You're like, well, I'm
Dude,
much further
I know I've
than
done 100,000, man.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
I've done 100,000, man. Really. I mean, yeah, I've done a lot of hours. And I would do them again. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Do them again, man. I would do them again. Did I miss out on a few things? Maybe not. I wasn't that much of a partier anyway. So I had a limit of how long I would stay at a party.
That's me.
I would
Hour
go,
and a half.
I would have
I'm out.
90 minutes, man, 45 minutes. I'm out of there. I wanted to leave before the party got too uncontrollable.
There you go.
You get me?
Mm-hmm.
And although I got control of myself, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't want to bear witness.
Facts.
I don't want to bear witness. I don't want to know what happened here. I could truly say
I was
don't
gone.
know. I was gone.
Don't know.
I was gone before the lights came on, man. You get me? I was gone before the lights came on.
No, that's smart. I mean, staying out the way, no matter what generation, staying out the way has always been the best way.
It's the only way to go, man. If you really
and focus in on what you're working on. You know what I mean? What's the you know, fun is fun, but where are we trying to get?
Yeah,
where are we
man.
trying to go?
That's why I'm super proud of you, man. It's like you never let this business slow you down about what you wanted to do in it.
Thank you.
And I've seen you, man, the iterations of what you have done, man. Singer, you know what I mean? You started off as a kid, man.
Yeah.
You started off as a little tot at this, man. And it never changed you, man. You've always been real respectful.
Thank you.
You always worked your ass off for everything you've gotten. No one really gave you anything. You let your talent meet up with your opportunities. And then, like what we were talking about here in the beginning, you created opportunities for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You went out and made music. You still make music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do things, man. You know, I'm trying to give you flowers now, because I
thank
want
you,
you to know, man, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of where you came, you know, where you began and where you are now. And this is not even the beginning of your journey. You're still young, man. You know what I mean? Wait till you're 65. I would like to be around to talk to you, but damn, I'll be old as fuck. You know what I mean?
Man,
30 years from now, yeah, man, sure, I'll be 90 and shit, and I probably won't even know. I'll be repeating stories. You know how motherfuckers do, man. They're like, oh, yeah, I did August. It was, what the fuck was that? You know
What year was that?
What year was that? You know, baby, what? Fuck it, I did it.
Look at it. There's a picture right there.
Right. I don't, you know, I hope it don't happen there, but I'm heading that way, man.
Nah,
There's
man.
no stopping it. I hope to be an old actor that can tell a lot of stories. Man.
But see, and that's listening to your story definitely gives me that, like, man, like it's cool to hear the whole timeline and realize like where you are now and how things with the work, the dedication, how they all work out, how some things come full circle, how like that's, to me, that's beautiful. Like I want to be, 65 years old sitting there going, oh yeah, man, I'm playing somebody's grandfather. I've played everything from somebody's little brother and child to playing somebody's dad to playing somebody's grandfather. And I've seen every iteration of that. And I'm, that's
Thank you,
incredible.
man. Here's what's really cool, man. I stayed in my own lane, Maestro. The lane that I created, I stayed in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like people, old saying that old people used to say all the time, make your own bed, lay in it.
Yeah.
I made my own bed, laid in it, stayed in my own lane. I didn't try to cross over no other guy's lane, no matter how fast it was moving or how well it was doing.
And that's where a lot of people mess up.
I stayed
You
in
see,
my
oh,
lane.
it seems like over there is where I should be. And it's like, whoa.
No,
Yeah.
man. That's your ego talking, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ego can fuck you up in this business, man.
Yeah.
Ego is like a drunken friend, man. Yo, let's just say, get over
That's
you,
a
man.
good
Go like, well, you can do it. You can do it well. But you can do it.
You the best.
You the best. I smoke that smoke. Drink that drink.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? Well, I keep telling you what to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
The ego get in your way, and then you jump over there and get ran the fuck over.
Because there's other people who've been in that lane the whole time.
Yeah, man. And they
Yeah.
know what speeds they at. They know what they doing. They know what kind of bullshit they gonna take or not gonna take.
That's facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to figure that out for yourself if you're gonna be long standing as an artist in this business. Know what your tolerance level is and be realistic. I say that to anybody. Be realistic about your goals and what you want to do. And put a time limit on that, even if it shit happens sooner or later.
Right.
If you notice, I put timelines in all of mine. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this when this happened, when this happened. But I was in my own lane. And I was willing to make the sacrifices. And I didn't let 2 episodes blow my head up thinking I'm gonna be a star.
Yeah. A lot of people love doing that. But I think that's another piece of the puzzle too, like what we were talking about earlier. Like a lot of pieces of this industry, it's just people they're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You know, it's all the flair and the hoopla and they want the attention. And it's like, that's not really what this is about. You know, it's more of like we're all blessed and fortunate that like we get to do what we love for a living and and when it's working, make a great living doing it.
Great living doing
it. But that's really, like you said, benefits. It's like these are the things you should be really appreciative of.
Yes, and that's what I was appreciative. I was very appreciative of the benefits that it was offering me, so I can take care of my family.
No, 100%.
So I can make sure. And what I mean by taking care of it, they never broke a leg,
right?
Or broke an arm. Never had to rush them to the hospital for anything other than regular checkups. You know what I mean? It's never. So I never got just using benefits to their maximum.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you go to sleep a lot better knowing you got them.
I did. I was able to relax on Mondays and say, if anything happened today, I ain't got to worry. I don't have to worry about calling a friend or a family and asking, could you help me pay this medical bill? Because, I'm not trying to get even political on this, but this country is set up where we really drowning.
Yeah.
When it comes to if something happens to you.
Yeah.
And you need medical care and don't have the proper care, you may end up not really surviving.
I was listening. They were saying like the average American, like the rates are high, like the rates are higher than they've ever been of Americans who don't have $500 if something goes wrong, like an extra $500 just in case.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Extra.
And it's just like, that's not even a crazy high number. So it's like if you can't, we know what medical bills look like. Right. $500 is nothing.
Right.
So it's like,
right. But I respect the hustle, whatever you're doing.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you're doing it, do it. Do it to the best of your ability. Don't talk about another person that may be doing it differently. Mm-hmm. You get me?
Right.
Because you don't know what that person is actually going through, what that person have to do.
And you don't know the story. Like I said, you don't know all the backstory of
not
why they even are where they are. You know?
Not at all.
So
man.
it's not even for us to judge most of the time.
It's not. It's not, man.
Yeah, bro.
Man, I'm looking at you and I go like, your parents got to be super proud of your ass, man. You know what I mean? Your ass never came back to Chicago, too, man.
It's like you said. I can't. I'm on a journey. I got something to do here. Now, there's possibly other places that I would go if I figured it out, but there's certain things to accomplish here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And don't let up, man.
Yeah.
It's all for you, man. If you really want it, set realistic goals. Mm-hmm. Tell yourself you can do it. And then keep the people around you that's going to help you see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't let you get off course when it's time to stay focused.
100%.
Because once again, you can get off focus and next thing you know, a few weeks went by, a few months went by, a few years went by, and you're still talking about it. When you could actually been doing that every day.
That's literally, even when I started this, it was like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast. I started right out in that living room because I was like, hey, because that's my thing. Like once I make the decision that I'm going to do something, and in the beginning I think about it, I toy with it, it's on it. But once I flip that switch and I say, I'm doing this, then that's it.
Yeah.
And then I always give myself, okay, I have to meet these barometers, I have to meet these benchmarks.
Right.
And then I can move on to the next thing. Yeah. But I also feel like it's the ebb and flow of you learn something from everything you do. Yes, and that's as much as I hate it, it's just like if I'm at the gym and I'm doing a workout that I really don't enjoy. I'm like, yeah, but you don't enjoy this workout because this is the weakest part of you. That's your problem.
Wow.
True. So, you'd rather be doing that. Why? Because it's easier.
So true.
So everything you have to learn from it, even if you're really bad at. That's what I tell everyone. Like, even if you're really bad at something, you couldn't walk at one point. You get around quite fine now, right? Yeah. So it just takes consistency and it just takes time and then not missing the obvious when that opportunity and those things meet. Mm-hmm. Not missing the obvious connections and making sure you're putting yourself out there to be available and to be,
And a lot of that you can contribute to your mom and dad. Your mom and dad worked hard. Yeah. And you watched them do that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I told my dad the other day, I said, hey, I was like, you taking me in those boiler rooms and taking me all around and do all this stuff that you were doing. I was like, it made it very clear to me that
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. and the type of work that I do, I am extremely fortunate to be able to do. So I was like, just knowing, seeing how hard, doing all this stuff with you, seeing how hard you work, and he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. But I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I much rather go do what I do and make some money than have to go do that.
And guess
but
what?
I see what real hard work is with your hands.
You working just as hard as he is, but on another
but on
level.
a different type. Yeah, the difference between he's using physical and mental, whereas mine is all just really mental.
I get that.
You know what I mean? And so it's more of the, it's a different kind of hours.
Yeah.
But it gave me appreciation for, real hard work.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? That you got to get down, get dirty, long hours, but I know with him,
and look
the
at
way he lights up when he figures out something or troubleshoots something it's
the same thing when we do what we do.
Exactly.
It's like, when you got it right, man.
When you do a take and you feel it, and you're like, nah, that was it. That's what that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's, man. But shout out to Floyd, man. You tell him
Shout
I said
out to
that.
He gonna see it. He gonna see
tell
it.
him shout out to him, man.
He love watching the pod, so he gonna love to hear
So he
this.
can steal what he instilled in you, man. Tell him that I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, man.
You know,
thank you.
Seriously,
it
man.
was cool. One of the coolest things I remember, even when I was younger, and I did the Be Like Mike commercial. When we were done, Jordan asked for my dad to come out, and he shook his hand. And he was just like, man, I wish my sons were this mannerable. He's like, you did a great job, man, blah, blah. And my dad was like, oh, thanks.
Man, you were. You still that way, man.
Yeah.
Super respectful to everybody and what they do. You don't look down on nobody, man. You don't look at people as being less than.
No. Well, I don't, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. And I definitely have done things that I'm 100% not the proudest of, but
right.
Over
that's
time, you learn from it. That's my point.
Yeah.
Same thing I was saying about the industry. You learn from all these things, and then you start to realize you're like, oh, right, like, I have my faults. I don't know the full story.
Wow.
And once you realize that, I mean, that explains everything. And
this is why Exhibiting Forgiveness is going to go off well, man, because it's really saying a lot of that in this film. It really, truly is about. Nobody's perfect. Yeah,
and judging for past deeds. And it's just kind of.
And how do you push past that? And not use that as an excuse to stop you from doing what you need to do? How do you not use an excuse of somebody else's thing that didn't really have anything to really, truly do with you?
I think sometimes, though, it's people use a lot of those things as fuel.
Yeah, man.
But then when they use it as fuel, sometimes you don't know how to disassociate it with fuel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it fuels you up when it's like, it's almost like hating somebody or, like, I never want to see that person get blah, blah, blah. I'm going to show them. Okay, but now what happens when you're fueled up and you win? Can you let that go?
Right. Or they got to find somebody else to feel that way about. Or something. And so
right.
Your life becomes that. I got to hate something.
Got to hate something in order to get me to
get me to go and whatever. You know what I mean?
It's a crazy thought.
It's true. My show, man.
Mr. I had Jelks, a great time, man. This was amazing.
Oh,
this
man,
is
it was a great time, man. I hope you
fantastic.
be able to cut some of this shit, man, or put it the way you need to, man.
Man, listen, people gonna want to hear this story, and I already know I'm gonna drop it after the movie comes out. And
okay.
Listen, I already know that
man.
People gonna be excited.
Hey, man, I appreciate
get a little
you,
bit
though,
more.
man.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, man, I can't wait to just sit down, man, because I've been following, watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
thank you, man.
I like the concepts, man, of what you're doing and who you talking to and what they have to say about their journeys, and everybody's journey is different. You know that. Everybody have a different way of getting to where you're going to get to. All I ever say to any young actor, don't give up. Because once you give up, man, it's no starting over. You got to pick up from where you at.
Facts.
But if you stop, you're not going to move forward, man. It's not going to happen, and no one's going to.
And then you didn't make it.
You know, you did make it.
whatever that it is, and I
Right.
feel like as I've gotten older, that's in something you said too. Like I started realizing, oh man, everybody's version of making it is different.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
there's one person who feels like they need the $60 million house in Bel Air. Then there's another person who's just like, hey man, I want to be able to take care of my family, be able to
Benefits.
go on have benefits, go on vacations. That everybody has a
Right,
different barometer, but
Right.
but I think in the long run, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's a human part of us, right? We got to
Yeah.
stay human. Because once they build you up to be a star, you can play that role. Or you
Right.
can be yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Who-
how deep in the
who-
game do you want to be?
Right. And who were you before you got here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who were you before you got here? To that place of, oh, I'm a star. You know what I mean?
And were you confident enough in yourself prior? Because
Yeah.
a lot of times that's the thing too. It's like people get these huge opportunities and they change. But I think that's
once again, do people really change or do people change around you? You know, people say that all the time.
people change around you.
You know what I mean?
And then they allow you to your own devices because the people who
Yeah.
were around you before probably kept you, like you said, a little
Yeah.
bit in check.
Yeah.
Now you got these new people who are just like yes men and women.
Yeah.
And that turns into
That turned into a whole nother thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got home talking about you. They ain't gonna say it in your face.
No,
'Cause you
but
paid it.
all in the text thread.
Right.
Yeah, they got a group chat talking
Right.
all about behind your back.
Yeah, man.
That's
Man,
right.
yeah, man. My shoe was this. My shoe was that. Oh, but I gotta go to work for him tomorrow. So,
That's why you gotta
Good.
keep the circle small.
right. My show. Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate
brother.
it. Yeah,
And we
man.
out.
You all right?
Peace.
Oh, do I get a chance to do peace? Where we peace at? Peace right there?
Right there.
We out, man.